What's up? What's up? I got two people watching. It's Ftdk dropping knowledge, Talkin Papas live. Sunday service. Sunday service. Got two people watching in and last out. Yay. That's right, baby girl Wendy. It's a Sunday. I'm outside. I just got to throw a shirt on and we take off with the family, but they're getting ready. So it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a little while. So while they're getting ready, while my family gets ready, because we're going to go out, have some lunch, chill, have a nice Sunday. I wanted to get out and just talk to you guys, man. Hey, what's up? What's up, Nightmare? Nice to see you, Nightmare. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. What's up, Frank? Hey, chilling, bro. What's up, Katie Frizzle? Nice to see you. I think an ant just bit me. I think an ant just jumped out the tree and landed on my back and just bit my ass. Hey man, it's Ftdk dropping knowledge, Talkin Papa Sunday service. We are going to get into a little bit of Bible. It's just a little brief message. It's 2 verses. But I want to talk off of that, right? I want to talk off of those 2 verses and tell you something that happened today to me that pissed me the fuck off. And it got me thinking. I went into a little bit of a rant here at the house. And my kids, they're very smart, man. So we can have conversations. And, they understand where my gripes come from. They understand where my ideas come from. Because I share that with them, just like I share with you, just like I'm sharing with you today. Ftdk dropping knowledge, Talkin Papas live. Hey, that's right, Nightmare. Hey, baby girl, Katie. Good morning. Nice to see you, Katie Frizzle. Good to see you. Shout out to you, Katie Frizzle. If you haven't already done so, please go check out her channel. She drops content as well. What's good? What's good? What's good? That's right. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Katie. Hey, as a matter of fact, is there still coffee in that thing? I don't know. Is it? Yeah, just let me know if there's still coffee because I might need another cup. No? Oh, okay. All right. I guess we drank all the coffee. Fuck. I should have drank some more. Yes, Ftdk's dropping knowledge, Talkin Papas on the Sunday service. Sunday morning. It's a nice Sunday. My family's getting ready. We're gonna go out for lunch. We're chilling. But earlier this morning, I'm going to tell you guys what happened to me today. Now, but before we do that, you know what? I'm going to read a couple of Bible verses. I got to give you a little bit of Bible. Hey, listen. So I want to put this out there, and I want to be very clear, like I always try to be as clear as I can. I'm not pushing religion on anyone, but you guys already know how I think, what my faith is. So I'm going to share with you guys sometimes little things about that. That's all. Frank needs his go-go juice. Man, look, I already drank a lot of coffee already, but a 3rd cup wouldn't go bad right now. Especially, it's nice and cool out here. I don't know if you guys can see the breeze. This is my mango tree. If you see that plant that's growing around it, my wife, you put that plant there. So yeah, we got a bunch of plants out here. I got another tree right here. It's a rose apple tree, and I got an avocado tree. What I'm living at, like how I'm living down here with trees and there's a bamboo, like a hill full of bamboo. And then we got a bunch of hills around, and there's a lot of foliage, a lot of vegetation, man. Now, when I come outside and I look at the green, I look at the trees, I look at the mountains, I give thanks to God for creation, man. I enjoy looking at plants, watching the small, ecosystems that are developed around the plants and the flowers of those plants that my wife has around the house. It's crazy. We see a lot of little bugs. There are blue bees, like honeybees. There are blue honeybees in my yard. Now, I had looked them up, and those are usually just in New Zealand, but I guess we have some here too. So I want to take a picture and a video of that little blue, because there's a bunch of little blue bumblebees around. But so I enjoy that, man. Like I enjoy creation. Like one of those things that happened to me when I decided to turn my life around was that I was able to look at the creation, the skies, the trees, the ground, the animals. I can hear the sounds. I remember going to the park the first time I was out. I was able to go to a park out and to an open field, and I gave thanks to God, man. I was praising. I was like, man, I can't believe that I'm out. That I'm given the second opportunity at just being somebody and doing something with myself. And that wasn't day one, but it was day one of me starting it, like starting to actually do. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. That's why, this channel is just an extension of me putting out a message, of me putting out an opinion, of me sharing my voyage, my process with you guys. So it's in that process that I decided to come out here and drop some knowledge. Frank Dika's dropping knowledge, Talking Papas live. Sunday service. Today we're dropping a little bit of a message and a little bit of knowledge for sure. Let me go ahead. I'm going to start off with this verse. Like these are two verses, okay? Now, this is in Revelations chapter 13, verse 17 and 18. Now, before you get to these verses, there's a lot of symbology, a lot of imagery. Like if you read the verses and you only focus on the imagery, like this is where a lot of people come up with the whole satanic imagery, right? This is where you get a lot of that from. Like from this, particularly from this chapter in the Bible, is where you get a lot of the imagery, a lot of the ideas behind what people think is satanic and Satanism. Now, this is not my opinion. Like what I'm telling you right now is not papas. It's not my opinion. It's just as general information. Like you can look it up. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm kind of encapsulating this, just giving you a preface of what I'm going to talk about. And why I want to talk about this is because this right here, what I'm going to read to you, is some of like the most common like verses that you're going to find. Like, and they've permeated into the social conscience. A lot of it now is just the imagery. Okay, but I wanted to skip the imagery because that is like a whole different conversation all on its own. And what I wanted to concentrate was on verse 17 and 18. So, if you guys go to chapter 13, Revelations chapter 13, it's the last two verses. Okay? And these are the ones that I'm going to tie into my rant today, because I'm a rant. I'm a rant today. Frank Tico's dropping knowledge, Talking Papas live on the Sunday service. And if you haven't seen my thumbnail, well, if you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But if you go and check out the thumbnail to today's Sunday service, you're going to see I threw a little robot in the middle of Sunday and service. There's a little robot head. Go check it out. Check out the thumbnail if you like. No, because I'm a rant a little bit. I'm gonna go off on a little rant. I had an experience today. I had an experience, and it triggered this whole like chain of thought. I did rant a little bit, like I told you guys at the beginning. My children are here; they'll attest to it. But they kind of like those type of rants. Because I let off a lot of steam and we talk a lot about what we see going on, and they're able to share their ideas. See, the conversations that I have at home are the ones that I kind of want to reproduce here to where people get involved. As a matter of fact, if anybody wants to jump on after I get through with some of the prime or the first parts of this conversation, if you want to jump on, please go ahead and do so. The link is right there. It's pinned. But I'm going to read these verses and then we're going to get into it. Okay, I'm going to read the verses. I'm going to tell you what happened today, because this happened today. And then I'm going to tell you what I think about it in general. And then if you guys have any ideas, if you guys have any thoughts on the matter, please share. That's what this is about. It's an open panel. You can jump on and have a conversation, respectful conversation. You can, disagree. If you disagree with me, you can explain why. Hey, what's up, Will Torres? Saludos, Frank, in chat. Hey, saludos to you, bro. Let me go ahead and read these verses. So this is Revelations chapter 13. It's verse 17 and 18. And it goes like this. And it says, and that no man... well, let me see. We're going to start at 16. And let me change the version. This is the King James version. I'm going to try to look for a little bit more modern version of it, just so that I don't have to like fully explain and get into like the whole like pronunciation of shit. All right, so here we go. It says he, he, when it says he right here at the beginning, it's talking about like the Antichrist. And you can have your ideas of what the Antichrist or who the Antichrist is, if it's a person, if it's a symbol of something. I consider it to be a symbol of something, of a department. It could be a department, it could be a head of state, it could be a new role to kind of govern a lot of things over the earth. You may think of the Antichrist as like this demon, evil looking. That's why I want to leave like the symbology out of this and just get to the part of what we're talking about here. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Now, whatever you think the sign of the beast is, whatever you think, that's on you. I'm not going to come out here today to rebuke or to confront or to debate that. That part is not in itself important. But what's important is the symbology of it. Like basically what this is saying is that there's going to be a system implemented, whether you believe that it's an actual number on the forehead or on the hand, like it's an actual mark, or whether you believe that it's a system. I think it's a system where maybe some of those things may be implemented, but what's important here is understanding that it says he causes everybody to be a part of this. Doesn't matter how small, how insignificant, how poor. It doesn't matter how rich, how big you are, or you can get to be. This system will reach you. Okay, this system is going to reach you. Okay, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. If you believe that, if that's what you believe, you can, I believe it to an extent of what I'm going to talk about. I'm only going to use these phrases to illustrate the point I want to make as to why I'm kind of pissed off today. Frank Ftdk's dropping nice Talkin Papas live. This is Sunday service. I'm going to tie this into what we're going to talk about. But anyways, and then verse 17 says this, okay? It says, and that no one, but look at what it talks about here. Like people like to use these, like the imagery in Revelations, the apocalyptic imagery to cause fear. But I want you guys to understand what we're reading here. So first, I explained to you that the mark of the beast, whatever it is, it's an implementation of a system. It's a system. Now, what is it? Is it a blockchain? Is it the blockchain? What is it? I don't know. But it's a system that we're all going to be tied into, rich or poor. That I just want you to understand it that way. You guys can color it. You guys can fill in the blanks. You guys can construct your preconceived notions of whatever it is. You guys can follow the traditional route and try to scare people with the numerology and all of and the imagery. You guys can use that and try to manipulate. I'm not about that. I'm not about manipulation. I'm just going to put it out there the way I understand it. The way I see it is that what it's talking about here is a system, okay, that will be implemented. Now look at what it talks about right after that. It's not talking about no demons. It's not talking about no dragons and fire and hell and brims and no. It's not talking about none of that. Look at what it says on verse 17. It says, "And that no one may buy or sell." So let's pause right there. No one may buy or sell. No one. Who's no one? We already covered that. On the previous verse, everybody, we're talking, it's a system that will be implemented. And look at the first thing that it touches on. It touches on buying or selling. Okay? Now, let me ask you guys right now, how many of you truly own anything now? Like, I just want you guys to think about video games for a second. Like, do you truly own the video game that you buy for your console? And it looks like we're moving closer and closer to a system where everything's going to be online. Music is online now. That's why a lot of people are starting to buy vinyl. They're starting to buy CDs because they're understanding. We've talked about this on the collector. Shout out to ET. Shout out to the collector. Shout out to ladies of Exposed Tube. We don't stop. Hey, we had battle boxes yesterday. Hey, we had a clean battle yesterday. Hey, man, none of that would be possible without the internet, without the use of technology. Okay, we're going to get to that. Right? Because we talk about a system. We're talking about a system that's being implemented, that's going to be implemented. I believe that the system is already here. It's already integrated. It just hasn't been weaponized the way it may become weaponized at some point. That's where I see it going. Like, I don't think that it's causing. I mean, there's harm that's being caused, and that's what pisses me off, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But what I want you guys to understand is this. We would not be having these conversations. We would not be having the content that we have and having the reach that we have if it weren't for social media, if it weren't for these platforms, if it weren't for the internet, Wi-Fi. I'm talking to you real time. If you guys would have told somebody in the 80s that maybe before that, if you would have told someone in the 70s, the 60s that this was going to be possible, they would have thought the Jetsons, or Flash Gordon or some shit like that. They would not have believed that you would be able to do this. Now for us, this is like an everyday occurrence. We can just jump on, go live, watch other people live. They're across the other side of the world. Hey, you guys know where I'm at. But even from here, I'm able to transmit, contact, as long as I have Wi-Fi, as long as I have a device, and I'm able to put an application in. So the system is integrated. The system is integrated. Like, we're all seeing the same memes. We're all being influenced. We're all being told this is what's going on in society. This is what's acceptable. No, you see the trends that happen online, they occur so much faster now than they did years ago. Before, a hit record to travel from one radio station in the United States all the way to like the 50th state would take months. Like, a hit song would become a hit, like, let's say in New York, and by the time it became a hit in California, it was like 6 months later. That's how fast things traveled back then. Now, look at Holland. Like, if you guys were following the World Cup, look at how instantly famous people have become. The goalkeeper for Cabo Verde, like, have you seen his story? He became instantly recognized worldwide and went from having, like, I don't know, like 20,000, 30,000 subscribers to his social pages to now having millions. That's the power of this system that we're fully integrated to, the system through which we pay, the system through which we buy. It's all right here. Right now we're allowed to do it. We're allowed to, because we're using this system for everything. But what happens if the plug is pulled? Ftdk's dropping knowledge, Talkin Papas live on the Sunday service, man. This is Sunday service. So it says that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So, if you guys think about numbers, think about PIN numbers, If you think about like your passwords, like some apps will tell you, okay, you got to create a strong password that has to have at least these things in it. So you can put right there, fucking cookie dough. You can put, you can make your password cookie wheel dough, but you have to include. You may have to include uppercase letter and some kind of symbol, right? So when you see here where it says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, whatever that is, whatever that symbol is, whatever that system is. It says, and that no one may buy or sell except one has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That sounds to me like you're accredited. You received credentials to be able to maneuver. If you think about your passwords, you think about your email addresses, you think about if you're putting like your bank information, which some of us have to do. You have to do it if you're trying to monetize, when you're trying to use these tools to monetize and to put your message out there. Hey, you have to play the game, and part of that game is we got to include information, bank information, routing information, your address, your physical address, your phone number. Like, do these things sound familiar to you? So for you to be a part of the system, you have to share all of that. You have to share all of that. So when people come out here talking hell, fire, and brimstone, when they're talking about these end of time things, we first have to recognize that what this book is talking about a system that's being put in place that will govern business, that will govern how we do transactions, that will govern certain aspects of our life. And it's a system that we will not be able to escape. And I believe that system has already been launched on us. It's just gradually taking shape. It's just gradually, encrusting its little testicles in every aspect of our life. It's already happening. You didn't sign off on it. Well, you kind of did. You didn't vote on it though. Well, and you kind of did. All of when you vote for certain politicians, or you allow certain politicians to enter into power, and they have an agenda, and that agenda is to implement a lot of these things, you kind of, voted for it. Hey, what's up, Machete? Paz de Cristo, hermano. Hey, la paz de Cristo contigo, hermano. We're talking papas today. Frank Tica's dropping now. He's talking Papa Sunday service. So, don't get hung up on all of that, satanic imagery that people draw from chapter 13 of Revelations. What you have to look at is the message behind it. And this is what I'm talking about today. And I'm going to tie it in to something that happened today. That really, really pissed me off. It pissed me off because I see how we unfortunately cannot stop certain shit from occurring. It's just implemented, and you can't really do shit about it. I mean, now I'm talking papas. Can't really do shit about it. Remember that you cannot do anything about it. You have no power over it, right? Does that sound true? I don't know. You guys decide. One never knows, does one? Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking Papa Sunday service. They got some loud scooters, man. No, that's like, yeah, it's them fucked up Japanese motors, man. But I mean, they're good motors, but they don't tune them up. So because they're small, they have that extra buzz, That's right, Machete. That's right. Hey, what's up, Cali Big Dog? Shout out to everyone. Got 8 people watching on a Sunday. That's cool enough numbers for me. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let me finish these verses, and then I'm going to talk to you about what happened to me today. Okay, I'm just waiting. We're family's getting ready. We're going to take off in a bit, go to lunch, just chill. So, right, so no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, whatever that is. And this is what it says on 18. It says, "Here is wisdom." Okay, so this is the part that I want you guys to extract from this. Now, whether you read the Bible, whether you believe in Christianity or not, that's not the point here. I want you to understand what this is describing. It's describing a system that's implemented. No one will be able to escape it. This system is required for you to buy, for you to sell, for you to do business transactions. Okay, that's what this is talking about here. Okay, now obviously, when you have that type of control over people, like you have all of their information, everything is very easy to know where they're at. I mean, look, how when you pass by and how your phone pings and how they can triangulate and all of that. Sorry about that. It's getting easier and easier because we put ourselves out there and we use a lot of apps that require a lot more intrusive information about ourselves, and we willingly put it out there. You know? So verse 18 says, "Here's wisdom. Let him who has understanding," and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build your understanding to see things a little more beyond. Sometimes we don't have the time. I'm not saying that, I'm brighter. I just think I have more time now. And I think sometimes that's what limited me in the past, was that everything was always right here, like the next paycheck, the next bill, the next thing I had to take care of. Like I was living my life in this rat race where I couldn't see beyond the next situation. And now that I have time and I can share some of this with you, I'm going to do it. And here is wisdom. Let him or her who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Now, this is the part I want you guys to understand. The number of a man. And then it goes on to say his number is 666. Okay? But now this part is based on numerology. Like you would have to understand numerology, at least the Kabbalic Hebrew mystical numerology, to understand that when it talks about 666 being the number of a man, is because in numerology the 6 is the number of the man. What's above a 6 is 7, and that is the holy number. That is the number of God, the creator. Not necessarily God the creator the way it's viewed in the Christian sense. I'm going to be honest with you. This comes from before, from a more mystical belief system that was implemented even before they had thought about Christianity, as far as humans is concerned. Let me catch up with some of your audio. Sorry about that, bro. I'll fix it somehow. I'll fix it. I'm not trying to, beef up. As a matter of fact, I'm only going to go look for a microphone today. Sorry, I'm speaking that. Can you guys hear me okay? I do have some music. Maybe the music was the one getting in the way. Let me get this in. Nurse, that's right. Let's see. Satanic imagery can represent literal visualism, shock value, or simply a way to provoke attention so many people do not understand what it actually is. Yeah, hold on. Give me a second, guys. What this is talking about, you don't have to be Christian, you don't have to read the Bible, but any other literature that you can find will speak of these things. If you hear people talking about the internet, about AI, if you hear the way it's described and what the uses of it is for, you can run parallels to what I just read. And let me read it again, just so it makes sense. It's this. So and that no one may buy or sell except the ones who have this number, right? And it's going to be everybody that's going to be caught up in this system, and the number is that of a man. So what it's saying is that this is a man-made system, okay, and it's the number of man, and that's why it's the 666, because that's the number, okay. Now, as far as whether that is satanic or that's a spiritual thing, hey man, that is not the argument here. But what the six represents is that this is an imperfect system as well, because it's the number of man, and man is considered imperfect. That's why he only reaches the six. But seven is the Godhead. It's the God number. Seven is the creation. Seven is what has power over everything else. So if we think that God is, the way that it's described in the Bible, or whatever your belief system is, that where there is a central God or a central deity, there's a lot of things that are attributed to gods, right? Well, in the Christian belief system, it's that he's all powerful, all knowing, all understanding, right? So basically, motorcycles. So basically, what we need to understand is that whoever's writing this or whoever wrote this is basically also telling you that this system will eventually be brought to naught because it's imperfect, because of the numerology. The numerology tells you that the system, although it's built this way and it represents something and it will have control over all of these things, because it's man-made, because it's the number of a man, it means that it can be destroyed. And that's exactly what Revelations and Apocalyptic talks about. It talks about the destruction of the system that's put into place that replaces the natural order of things. Now, what I'm telling you is just pure common knowledge. Like, if you guys go and watch the Avatar movies, isn't that like the central theme? If you guys go and watch Star Wars, isn't that the central theme? So all of these themes, this theme of a system being put into place to govern and to suppress, being blown up, and destroyed, is the central theme of many, not just religions, but also of literature, of ideas, of technology, of art. You know, I'm only using these verses to illustrate it because a lot of things are brought out of this, not just religious. It's just now when we talk about like apocalypsis or apocalypse now, the term apocalypse, that's the real word for the book Revelations. The name of the book is Apocalypsis, right? And what does apocalyptic mean? It comes from the Greek word apocalypsis, which means to uncover and to reveal a hidden secret, but it also means disaster and destruction. So when we talk about like apocalyptic type shit, what we're talking about is destruction. Now, whether you believe that to be like the destruction that you see in the movies or that people try to sell you, that's on you. I don't believe in that. And that's a whole topic for a whole nother conversation, a whole nother video. And you know what? I might not even put that video out because that has more to do with what I believe, what my central belief system is. Those conversations I have one on one or in front of other people in a different type of setting. All right, that's cool, Katie. All right, thanks so much. See, satanic imagery isn't always about worshiping the devil. Sometimes it's just rebellion, dark vibe, shock value, or something trying to shake the room and get people talking. Yeah, I agree. It's also used as a form of singling people out so that they're discredited, so that they're looked upon negatively by general society. Like if you say something is satanic, the general population will normally perceive it as something bad, as something not that it shouldn't be talked about, something taboo, right? Something that's taboo, that shouldn't be touched by society, that shouldn't be permitted into society. So a lot of times it will be used that way. Sorry about that. It will be weaponized. That's right. Now, God and the devil ain't on the same level. Satan's an enemy pushing rebellion, lies, and temptation. But God holds all the power. Satan can make noise, but and that is the common understanding and belief system within like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and many other religions that come from that. For example, the Rastafarians, but they see it a different way. But they hold on to a lot of the symbology. But what I want you guys to walk away with is this: that what it's talking about here is a system. And what I was describing to you guys is a system. When we talk about the internet, when we talk about cryptocurrency, when we talk about having to put it in our bank information, our personal information, to be able to get on these platforms and to have these communications and to have access to things, you have to share more and more of who you are, your image, like facial recognition, all of that. People that are making AI images of themselves or of other people are feeding this imagery into a system that's controlled by who? Now, I'm just going to put this out there and you do your homework. Where is the major lobbying for AI being pushed? At what levels? Is it at the state level? Is it at the country level, like national level? Or is it international? What's at stake? What are the threats of not adopting it? What are the threats of adopting these things? Like, where are these conversations being held? They're not asking us. you know, they're not asking us. But in the meantime, they're already monetizing on the stock market. In the meantime, they already created systems in which they're making money off of everything we do. We're active participants in it. I'm not going to lie. I have to participate in it. There's no way around it. Like, there's no way around it. I cannot ask my employer to pay me cash. That does not exist anymore. I remember that even back when I had like my first job, like I could ask, you know what, I just get cash this time. I don't have time to go to the bank. And my employer would say, all right, cool. He would pay me off. He would just make me sign some shit and that was it. Now you can't do that. You can't really get around that. That's why they want you to have good credit. They want you to have a good, and that's why now you also have all of these, these debit card companies that are also selling your information. That's the system that I'm talking about. So, I'm not trying to be extra religious here, and that's why I said I walked away from reading the imagery part of that chapter because that's a whole different conversation. What I want you guys to understand is that these themes, like the ones that I just read to you, of a central system being put into place to govern, to control, even business, even every transaction that we do, is already here. Like, that's not a conspiracy, that's real life. That's what we're living through right now. Which leads me to what happened to me today that pissed me the fuck off. Frank Tica's dropping nice Talking Papas live. Talking Papas, man. A little bit of a message and a little bit of knowledge, though, because it's Sunday service. Sunday service. I'm just chilling. I'm chilling right now because we're going to go out to have lunch, but my family's getting ready. Let me see. I think we still have some time. We're going to leave in about an hour, so I got about an hour. I'm not going to be on too much longer. That's right. Let's see. Atheists ain't automatically devil worshippers. If you don't believe in God or devil, you ain't out here worshiping Satan either. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It has nothing. I want to make this very clear. Like, my conversation today has it really nothing to do about that in particular. But I agree. I agree that one thing does not necessarily mean another. But what I want to talk about is the central theme of a system being put into place to govern us. And that sometimes it's, we read these things and people only focus on the imagery. People only focus on the scary things, like the things that drive them crazy, things that are sometimes used to manipulate, that are used to run narratives, like the narratives that they try to run on us by using like imagery and AI shit talking about Satanism. But if we truly focus on what we're talking about, it's not talking about all of that fire and brimstone and demons and horns. No, it's talking about a man made system that will be used to subjugate everybody. And I believe that that is already here. And if we, I mean, let's be real, it's been implemented. It was implemented years ago. Years ago. Let's see, there are more than one version of Satanism. Yeah, yeah. But we're not talking about that. That's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is that sometimes people get lost in that imagery, in that conversation, but they don't read what I just read. And what I just read is talking about a system. That's the conversation that we're talking about today. The conversation that we're having today is about that system. Is about the system that's implemented, that controls the way we do finance, that controls what we can and can't do, what we can and cannot talk about, because you guys already know that there's censors, that we are being censored as well. But these are platforms that are supposedly public, but that can be used against you straight up. And you can't comment certain shit because it'll get shut down. Like, that's a controlling aspect of the system that's already being implemented. And you can't fight it. I tried to fight a censor and I lost. Like, I'll win some of the copyright battles on YouTube, but not all. Now sometimes it'll just block my shit completely. The last Thursday that we were listening to music, those Michael Jackson songs, they blocked those lives. I can only retrieve it if I edit it. I'm not gonna do all that editing. I was talking too much. Yeah. No, I know, but I want you guys to know what my conversation is about. I just wanted to put out there because I know the conversation on the chat is one thing, and that's cool, but I want everyone to understand that my main message is we're already under a lot of scrutiny. Like, we've truly sold our information cheap, like very cheap. And you cannot complain, and you cannot complain if an AI company it decides to release like a video and they're using your images and your art and whatever it is that you allowed for them to have access to on that. Let's see, Machete, Shalom Alechem, Alechem, yeah. We're already in that. We're already in the matrix. But we need to have enough awareness to know like when it will start to turn against us. Okay? It may not be in a few years, right? It may not be in a few years. It may not be until maybe 20 years from now. But you just have to be aware that we are buying into these systems. I mean, some of it is inescapable. Like, I can't escape AI. I've tried. I've tried to avoid it, but a lot of the systems are already in place. And what can you do? And if the apps that you're using, if the systems that you're using implement AI, you can't really do anything about it. You can stop using the service, but then if you stop using the service, you stop being connected. You stop being a part of what's going on. You know what I mean? So that's the catch 22 of all of this. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Also, we have to continue to be damned if we do until it becomes, damn, I can't do it no more, because this is truly now at the brink of existence. Like, look how much water is being used up right now to run these data systems. the systems that are being put into place to govern, control, and be on top of all of our shit at the same time are drying up fucking ponds like tadpoles. Tadpole has a pond out there that may end up getting dried up, you know, being dried up, all for us to use systems that are implemented to control us. So we are the cause always of that apocalyptic shit that goes on in our world. Like there are animals that will be extinct pretty soon because of us, and we don't seem to give a fuck. Because and I'm gonna be real. I take advantage of this space to drop knowledge. Ftdk's dropping knowledge, talking papas. Come out here, talk my papas, have fun, chill with you guys. But the reality is that I've put my face, I've put my information out there. And I'm not afraid about like the trolls and them. It's more like, how is that information going to be weaponized against us as humans? you know Are we giving AI the resource to know what our strengths and our weaknesses are? And then I want to talk about what happened to me today. Let me see, Machete. Respect, brother. I appreciate the kind words. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Stay learning, stay grounded, and keep moving forward. That's right, bro. Hey, shout out to you, Machete. That's what we do right here, bro. I just want to come out here, put a little thought out there. Maybe it's something that you weren't even thinking about, but maybe you were. Because I'm sure that everybody now kind of sees the reach of AI. Have you not had a situation where damn, that's AI too? That's what happened to me today. Today I had a situation where I was like, what? That's AI too? So my kids were testing out the internet speed, and I was just watching a video, and they were talking, and I overheard it. And then one of them asked me, "Hey, Dad, have you noticed the speed on the internet?" I'm like, "No, not really." So they ran that internet test, and it was really low. The speed was really low compared to what my Wi-Fi should be running. So my son's like, "You know what? Let me test it again." I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna call because I have noticed that the internet has been kind of slow. Whenever I do the speed test, even though it's working fine, the downloading and the uploading speeds have been kind of shot out." And I thought, now that I'm here with the kids and they noticed it too, fuck it, I'll call. I got time. And so I called my internet provider. And I went through the whole fucking IVR. If you want this, press one. If you're trying to do this, press two. I went through that whole shit. And what I did was, I'm like, I want to speak to somebody. I want to speak to someone about this issue. So I chose speak to a representative. And that representative was AI. Now, I know that there are a lot of companies that are using AI for everything, but it just surprised me. It surprised me that it was an AI, right? It was an AI assistant. Um, are some of the human assistants a little, maybe not so knowledgeable? It happens. Sometimes they don't give you the best service. No, what did fucking Joker say? Well, I'm only human. Yeah, bitch, you're a 52-year-old human. But that's a whole other conversation. No, sometimes humans will fuck up. Sometimes they'll give you the wrong information. Sometimes you'll get pissed off and cuss them out, right? I mean, that's what people do with customer service reps all the time. Trust me, because I've done that business too. But it just surprised me that instead of speaking to a human, I was speaking to AI. And now, you have to understand that, once again, I live in El Salvador, and the salaries here are bad. The salaries here are bad. They're not good. They're not very good. Compared to the cost of living, the salaries are not very good. These jobs that people had were low paying jobs, like those, assistant jobs to speak over the phone, They were low paying jobs, but they took those jobs away from so many people and have now this AI thing. I didn't ask for it. I don't know who's authorizing the companies to get rid of jobs and to install AI. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. I wasn't really asked. And I'm sure that a lot of people that are calling right now are like, what? This is AI now? Like, I'm not going to speak to a real person now. I'm going to speak to AI. Well, that's what happened to me today. And at first I was like, okay, maybe if, I got to go through a phase of this before I can actually speak to someone. But no, not at all. The AI representative told me, look, I'm going to do a few things on my end, and then I will give you a call back. If you agree to that, say yes. If you don't agree to that, say no. Or press 1 if you agree, and press 2 if you don't agree. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, I already went this far. I might as well talk to the bitch. And I said, all right, cool, yeah. I didn't say it that way. Oh, sí, está bien. Está bien. That's all I said. What, thanks so much for your thanks so much for that. Blah blah blah. Hung up on me. Let's see. What's up, Torta Pounder? Yo, what's popping? Just stopping in to say what's up. Been real busy lately with work and the kids. Hey man, that sounds like a good life to me, bro. Blessings to you, blessings to your family, to your kids. We don't stop, bro. Whenever you come by, we're always gonna be here. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I got 10 people watching. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. That's right, little white ferret. So I don't know how many jobs just got replaced by AI here. See, and that's I think what one of my problems. I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if it's a virtue, but it's what gets to me, and it makes me like upset. And I'm very sensitive to these things because it's fucked up to not have a job. It's not AI. It's how it's used in program. Exactly. That yes, little white ferret. It's not AI per se. It's the use of it, and it's how it's used and how it hurts communities. Like it's already like that's already gonna happen. So what happens is that if these low paying jobs begin to like swallow all of these low paying jobs, if AI swallows all of these low paying jobs, what's gonna happen to these people? Like where are they gonna go work? They're gonna now have to go compete with a whole bunch of other demographics somewhere else for the same jobs. Not everybody's going to be hired. Not everybody's going to have a job. And see, here where I live now, even if you're selling like something out on the street, you need to have a permit. It wasn't that way before, and I'm sure that it's that way in other countries, and I know that in the States it's been that way as long as I can remember. But this is a third world country. It's a third world country. I remember seeing an old lady come out of a bus with a big ass basket. And I think I said this before, but I'm going to mention it again. I'm a repetitive motherfucker. Sorry about that. Frank Ftdk's dropping now. Talking Papa's live. Sunday service. And she was happy and she went home with $5. That was everything that she had sold. She sold everything. She sold everything in that basket. She had been there from 6 in the morning to like 2 when she was going, because I was going that way and I'm overhearing this lady. And from 6 to 2, she made $5. And she was happy. That's what she was taking home. And of those $5, she had to set aside something to be able to sell the next day. So people that have okay jobs will now not have jobs. What does that do to the poverty level? Those are things that they get to me. Let's see. AI reaches deep into everyday life from phones, social media, shopping, banking, cars, and healthcare to jobs and entertainment. A lot of times, AI is already in the. Yeah, exactly. I know it's already here. It's already making me a target. AI AI right now is in its apartment like Johnny V writing my name down. Fucking AI. Frank Tico's dropping nice talking Papa's live. Hey man, hey tadpole. Hey, you better put a fence around that pond, fool. They're gonna go and build a data center and suck up that little tadpole pond dry. Gotta be careful out there. You know it's hard out there for a simp. Let's see. If AI can easily replace what you do for a living, then you need to learn a more. Okay, yes, that makes sense, bro. That I understand that. Not everybody has access. Not everybody has access. Not everyone lives how we live. Not everybody has the same. You may think that you're roughing it out. Trust me, there are people that are truly roughing it out. I'm not talking people that are lazy. I'm talking people that are out of sight, like that live in places where there aren't even roads. That have to, there are still places where people have to walk 2 or 3 kilometers, like a mile, almost 2 miles, to go get water. That still exists. And in certain countries, that's like 50, 60% of the population. And if some of those people managed to get a better job, it was exactly that job. So, what's the higher skill set? How are they going to get a higher skill set? Unless we built a way of including those people. But what does that mean? It means investing in roads. It means investing in schools. It means investing in Wi-Fi to reach, because we're talking 50%. Now, do the math around where you live. Do the math in the States. How many people don't have access to even Wi-Fi in the States? It's easy to say, apply, do something, get a higher skill set. Some people don't have the time or the resources. AI doesn't even get noticed by most people. Yeah, it doesn't, but it will start getting noticed, like I noticed today. Fuck. To me, it was like, good Lord. And you know what happened is, so I told AI, yeah, sure, fine, do whatever you got to do. By that time, my son had already, unplugged and plugged the router back in. We had cleared cache cookies, done the full reboots, whatever. So when the AI came back, sorry, the Wi-Fi was connected again, it was running at a higher speed, and it was good. So we did that on our own, but AI called me. The AI servicer, the AI called me. He called me back on my phone, and he spoke to me. He's like, "Can you tell me how it? Please let me know if this resolved the issue for you. If it did so, say yes or dial 1. If it didn't, say no and dial 2." And I think if I would have said no, it would have given me a bunch of more options. But by then, when it called me back and it was trying to have a conversation with me, that's when I was like, oh, this shit's getting out of hand. And maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm old fashioned. Maybe. But trust that there are certain countries, there are certain places where people have more voice. And the reason why a lot of the customer service lines are still people is because the consumer still has power behind their money. That's really what it is. And if the consumer keeps saying, no, 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 I want to talk to a real person. No, 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 I want to talk to a real person. Eventually, the companies will be like, oh, okay, I got to keep at least 200 people answering the fucking phone. They may not like it, but it's only because the consumer is paying good money. And when they're saying we want to keep loyal customers, a lot of the time the loyalty is proven through having actual humans answer the phone. Speak to a representative. Straight up. But that guy, you know what? It pissed me off, man. You know why it pissed me off? Because I used to have that mentality, like that cold mentality, like, well, people need to then study this. I used to have that mentality until I saw poverty face to face. No, when I saw what real poverty was, and when I went in to see the systematic use of poverty, because it poverty is systematic as well. If people wanted to eradicate poverty, it could be eradicated. Seriously, it could. But see, people would rather say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps while watching a guy in his mega yacht try to lobby for a state to raise the bridges just so he can get through there with his super yacht. And there's people like vouching for that guy instead of looking at the systems that they've created and be like, wait a minute, you're over here trying to get bridges to be of a higher altitude so that you can travel with your super yacht through these rivers? Like, you have that much money, bitch? You got that type of money? Like, you lobby for these people to live in poverty because lobbying allows for this to continue. Well, you guys think it's just people being lazy? It's not people being lazy, man. Man, there are people that wake up earlier than you and go to sleep later than you to make $8 that day. So people should be punished for wanting to live, for wanting to have children, for wanting to have a home. Like, what do you have to do for that? See, and the thing is that even people that have that higher education are going to be replaced too. And then what are you going to say? Ftdk's dropping knowledge, talking papas. Hey, but I'm just talking papas. I'm talking papas. I'm just talking papas out here. Sunday service is Sunday service. It made me upset. It made me think about like all of the people that I'm like, man, this guy, he's not understanding me. I gotta explain once again. I'd rather explain again. I have no problem explaining something to a human once again if I know that that human can have a job. I want humans to succeed. I'm team human over here. I'm team human. Straight up. I'm team my children and their children and my lineage and your lineage and what's the future going to hold for your kids? You guys may be talking about higher education, but that higher education may become obsolete by the time they figure out how to do it without you. It is what it is. So don't get caught up when people talk about apocalyptic shit and talk about the sign of the beast and they talk about getting the mark and all of these things. Don't get caught up in the imagery of it. Don't get hung up on the satanic symbols and no, 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 no. What you have to draw out of it is that literature, whether you believe the Bible to be a man-made book or inspired by the Holy Spirit, whether you read any other book or any other literature, you are going to find the same themes over and over again. Go watch Terminator. Go watch. What's that movie? Elysium. Go watch Elysium. Elysium. I don't know what it's called. Go watch that movie. I mean, you guys can look at history. You know, when I talk about slavery, I talk about every type of slavery. But slavery was a system that was implemented. And all for what? At the end, what was it all about? It was all about money. It was all about using something else. They considered their slaves things, not people, dehumanized. But they basically use slaves like they use AI. It's like you do the dirty work and we don't have to pay you. While eliminating people in the process. Like, come on, it's not that far fetched. You just gotta open your eyes, be open minded. Frank Ticas Rapinas talking papas live. And that pissed me off, man. That fucking assistant pissed me the fuck off. It reminded me of Elysium when Matt Damon goes and sees his parole officer, and his parole officer is a fucking robot on the desk. It even offers him like pills or some shit to calm down. Nah. You know, and I trip out. I trip out because we are so easily manipulated into believing that this is just, you know, it's just a wave. It's just a part of what's going on now. Something else is going to come up. Yeah, something else will come up. If you believe that, more is yet to come. Stay tuned. Frank Ticas dropping nice talking papas. Talking papas live. Sunday service. Sunday service. Hey, shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone watching. Got 13 people watching. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hey man, we had some fun last night on the battle boxes. Shout out to ET. Shout out to ladies of Exposed Tube, always putting it down. Miss Yaya, Mimi, No Blue, Mr. Oxnard. Shout out to Taco Stain. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Hangman Stranger. Katie Frizzle, my prayers to you always. Ghost, Runner's Pug, everybody, man. I know Blue has a channel out there too. Hey, man, go watch what he does, man. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And part of that is just, you know, sharing thoughts and ideas because we promote education. And sometimes our thoughts and ideas have to be challenged. I don't mind challenging them, you know. And I don't mind being challenged, but if you challenge me, well, you know, I will respond. I just think that it's important that we see these things. Now, you know, what your thought process, what your opinion is, that's going to be yours. You know, I can't change it. But what I can tell you is that me personally, I don't see the overall benefits to anybody but to those who own these things. You know, look how hard it's getting. Once again, a tadpole. They're gonna drop your pond, fool, or your lake, whatever. Okay, it's a man-made lake, fool. All right. I'm gonna accept it's a lake, tadpole. They're gonna dry that shit up. Say shout out to Tadpole. Hey, shout out to Little White Fairy. She also, you know, she puts her content out there. She has her little battles out there. I see you, Little White Fairy. Hey, listen, none of that would be possible if we didn't have the internet. None of it would be possible. I mean, that's straight up. Now, I can't be a hypocrite and come out here and say that I don't use technology and that, you know, that some of the things that I'm using may include AI. But I can tell you, and this is honest to God, I avoid it as much as I can. I do. I do. I am team human. I'm team human being. You know, AI could not replace the battle box that we had last night. AI could not replace that. No amount of AI could replace that type of interaction. I mean, and that's, you know, that's the human aspect that we must hold firm to. You know, that's why when people try to divide us, limit us by, what was it called? By identity politics, using religion, using all of these things to try to divide and separate us. Do you understand that all it's doing is making the powers that be stronger, making these instruments that they're using against us even more effective because we're already giving them the ammunition of how to come at us, of how to disrespect us, of how to make us look stupid, of how to make someone react. I mean, we're feeding that shit into the algorithm. So all you instigators, all you agents of chaos, just don't be surprised. Is all I'm saying. That's why when we talk about things coming back, a lot of times it's going to come back exactly against those that AI takes from. And that's the first. But I'm just talking papas. Practica's talking papas live. Sunday service. Sunday service. Let me see. I don't know if any of you have any comments or questions. I'm not going to be on too much longer. I will be going out with the fam. Spend time with them. Spend time with your family, man. Try to stay away from a lot of the shit that you see online. Build human relationships. It's important. I know ET talks about a companion. Hey, man, I see nothing wrong with it, but don't let go. Don't weaken the bonds that make you family, that make you friends. That the people that are in your life. Build on that. Build on that. That's going to be important. Trust me, it's going to be important that you have a strong human connection to others. Times are coming. That shit's going to be important. Frank Ticas dropping knowledge, stocking papas live. A little bit of a message, a little bit of knowledge. I just wanted to come out here today, let you know that I'm Team Human. I understand that some of these things are unavoidable. But all I'm saying is, like I always say, just, sit back, watch, and observe. And if you believe, like I believe, you really need to think about what it is that we vouch for and what we don't. That's pretty much it. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to take off now. Catch you guys later on the live with ET. We're going to have the oldies show, right? So thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please watch my videos. I might drop a video later on tonight. But until then, and until next time, like I always say, peace.